Hi there, I'm Shoddy, and today we're going to be playing Betrayal at Krondor Episode 2. And where did we leave off in Episode 1? I can't quite remember. It's been a couple days. I think I'll start taking every Sunday off. I took Monday off too because I had some stuff to do. Well, looks like it's dark out and we're on the road. I think we were looking for treasure and fights to get some experience. I think I spent all my money, I remember that. Let's see where we are. This is probably Lamont. If you want to see episode 1 or any of the other games I play, you should check out the live tab on my YouTube. There's also some playlists there. Yeah, Lamont. There's did you say there was a hill east of Hawks Hollow I wanted to go to? Check out a treasure. Yeah, that'll be the cave that I came from. Rest until daytime. Alright, let's go exploring. On our old Windows 95 machine, we didn't have enough, I don't know what kind of memory it was, so we'd have to play the game in just DOS. Couldn't play it through Windows. And back then we didn't know how to get mouse drivers or anything. It's lucky we got the sound working, but we'd have to play the game without most of the spells. There was no interface for choosing how powerful the spell was you wanted to cast was going to be. So I don't think we ever beat the game back then, but after some time or some different something has been buried under the dirt. The hole's not big enough to put a man in, so it's safe to assume it is in the grave. Walkler said, might be a secret cache of food or supplies. Let's take a look. After some years, I figured out how to get either the mouse drivers working or our Windows 98 virtual machine to play this game, but now it just works in DOS box, which is good. Alright, I don't think I've been to this town yet. Tavern Keter. Oh, I have been here. Well, was it here during the day? The door swung open, bleary-eyed and smelling of alcohol. A 40-ish looking man sneered at him. Well, what do you want? He shouted. Out with it. Hoping you could give us directions. Directions? Directions, the man's eyes blazed as he snared a wine bottle from the floor. I'll give you directions. Before Locklear could react, he felt the impact of the wine bottle against his skull. Did he actually hurt? Looks like he is. Doesn't seem that anyone's about. Locklear knocked on the door of the small wooden house, then waited patiently for someone to answer. After several seconds, a woman appeared and ushered them inside. I don't really have time to talk unless it's really important, sirs. I have to finish preparing some mushrooms I picked for the shopkeeper over at Kegs. He nearly ran out of healing restoratives yesterday. You know what they say, you can kill me, but you can't eat me. That's a strange expression, Gorth said. What does it mean? Tell the truth, I don't know, the woman replied, her face brightening with a wide grin. It was something that Baron Kevin used to say. Never could make any sense out of it. Now, if you excuse me, I really must be running along. Abandoned. I think I came during the nighttime and nobody answered their door. I haven't been to the store, though. Maybe I have. Want these shells? Or if my blades are sharpened. They are not. Must be a treasure back here. More dirt. It's the same dirt I already dug. Let's go east. On some bad guys. The enemy was not surprised. In fact, they seemed eager to accept the challenge and move forward to meet the failed charge. Weapons are ready, shouted Blockler. Looks like we're going to fight this one on their terms. I don't think Golan got hit. Nice, temple. Incense swirled. Striding between the columns of the temple, Locklear made for the heavy wooden doors which had been sealed against the daylight and which preserved the privacy of any ceremonies in progress. Pulling a tasseled rope which hung next to the door, he waited the response of the door warden. Temple of Killian. The meditation chamber was Spartan and strangely cold, seeming all the colder for the heatless flame which burned in this holy censer. The only bow that had been made to adorn... The only bow that had made to adornment in the temple appeared to be the strange pattern that has been etched upon the wall. The design was odd. I see the mandala interests you. Turning, Locklear noticed a thin young man standing in the archway, his hands hidden in the folds of his robe. While the relations between the temples and the new Academy of Magic at Stardock have been cool, it is one of the treasures they have passed on of the Surani magic. Surani? Has given us great mobility. Mobility, Locklear asked. How can a painting help you move? The Acolyte smiled. It would be easier explained by example. Tell me a place you are familiar with, a place where you've spent a good deal of time. Locklear shrugged, describing the place he had grown up, the layout of the rooms, the various things associated with his home. Very good, the man replied. As you describe those things to me, doubtless you can also experience certain... You have also experienced certain memories through which you were able to relive your past. In the same way, those mandalas help us locate a place. By memorizing a pattern paint on the wall of a specific temple, we may will ourselves there. I could think my way home with this? No, the memory of your home would be too unfocused for you to make the attempt. But if you were to memorize this pattern, you could return here by recalling its image in your mind when assisted by the power of another temple. Locklear looked back at the mandala, lost in thought for a moment, his eyes soaking up the intricacies of it. I assume there would be some fee associated with moving between locations? The acolyte nodded. As simple as it is in concept, it still requires a great deal of effort to move even a single individual. Although I am told the Serani Great Ones moved about with less effort. I believe Pug wished to restrict our knowledge of this in some ways until we have proven we would not abuse its power. A bell sounded. Abruptly, a dark row of priests swept into the room and came to a halt behind Locklear. I was alerted that you might desire to use the mandala. Desire, perhaps, but I haven't seen any of the other symbols, Locklear said. I don't suppose you could go with us. I am regret that I cannot assist you, the priest said. My duties require I stay here to guide others that wish to arrive. I am sorry. The fire was cold. Unnerved by the unnatural flame, Locklear decided to explore elsewhere. Locklear pulled the curtains aside. The rear section of the temple was as dramatic as the meditation chamber. A large pool occupied the center of the lush courtyard and was hemmed in on all sides by an alabaster peristyle with climbing vines. I don't know what that word is. Peristyle? Peristyle? Never. I have no idea. Cloistered immediately off the open area were several arches. Doorways either blocked by heavily woven curtains or choked with clouds of obscuring incense. Nearby a gong sound, and immediately a priest hurried out of the doorway, halting as he caught sight of the unexpected supplicants. You can bless equipment, I think. Locklear searched his pack. Which of these items would you like blessed today? A priest asked. So if I pretend. The priest accepted the item. Carefully he laid the standard kingdom armor on a low table covered with a white cloth while he opened a book which he retrieved from a cluttered bookshelf. Flipping through its tattered pages, he found a column of numbers and ran his fingers down them. I always wondered why the price of a blessing varied from item to item, Locklear said, watching the priest. Does it have something to do with the gods? Rather more to do with how the item was made, the priest explained. If there are any special metals used in its construction or spells used to bend the metal, then they become factors in how difficult it will be for us to make a blessing stick. Leaning closer to the page, he stabbed at a figure. Ah, here it is for you. For standard kingdom armor, it would be 58 sovereigns and 7 royals, the priest said. We're going to decline that. What about cure? The priest shrugged. There's nothing wrong with you that I may mend, he said at last. Your wounds will heal themselves with time, or may be mended by... That must be surgeon, but... chirurgeon? But I can only heal those things of a spiritual nature. There is no curse upon you, nor is Limbs Cragma marked you to come soon to her halls. You shall salve without assistance. Limbs Cragma is the god of death in this universe, I guess, I think. I don't know if he's, evil. I think he's just like a neutral. Let's talk. They were shown to a chamber. Here there were no flagstones or chip tiles underneath their feet, but instead a thick carpet of grass jeweled with dew. At the far end of the room, a pair of yew trees overarched a throne of woven reed, upon which was seated a striking-looking woman, her shoulder-length black hair bound behind her back with a green cord. I am the high priestess of this temple, she said musically. Killian welcomes you to her domain. Come, be seated. Listening with keen interest to the stories told by Locklear, the priestess remained as motionless as a statue. At last she folded her hands in her lap and sighed heavily. That was most entertaining, she said. I particularly like the part about the drunk, but I would advise you in the future to keep an eye on the food you eat. You shouldn't simply gulp down the first thing you find without taking a look at it first. Properly chastened, Locklear shrugged his shoulders and promised he would be more careful in the future. Cheered, he didn't mind when the high priestess escorted them from the room. The priest bid them farewell. Leaving the lushness of the central courtyard, they passed back through the curtains into the deserted meditation chamber. Right. So now we can, if we find another temple, we should be able to teleport to this temple. For a fee. That might be useful later. I think there's some temples off the road as well. I can't remember where the dwarf told me there was temples. Ashes were cold. Whipping the grab off his hand, Locklear shook his head. Someone or something obviously set up camp here, but it's hard to say just when. Can't get through there? Okay. Fences. Locklear gasped. Severed heads spun in gray space before him as disembodied arms and legs flailed together with a sound much like the clashing of kitchen scullery. Looking closer, he realized the body parts were not in fact body parts, but instead very tarnished pieces of armor that has been suspended from the shop's rafters. You there, careful! It may all come down on your heads. A gnomish man appeared from the rear of the shop, a match held tight between his fingers. Should have knocked. Nearly didn't hear you come from upstairs. Didn't hear you from upstairs. I can see why you came in, though. Your armor is in quite a state. Another blow to your suit, and you'll look like those lot up there. I'll fix you right up. It's all the same, I prefer to buy an armorer's hammer. I'm sure you would, but I'm not in the business of ruining my livelihood. I'm an armorer, and I make my living in repairs. People go fixing their own, and I'm out of business, right? Goes to the animals. All he does is repairing. Can't buy as well here. Everywhere Locklear looked, polished metal gleamed as much as a temple to war as any temple of Tith. The cramped shop contained a startling variety of armor. Locklear surveyed their equipment. Which of the items would you like repaired today? The mender asked. Nice. Sell you stuff? No. Don't need any repairs, thank you. Go down the road, and then I'll come back through around the mountain there. Is there a bad guy over there? I thought I seen a bad guy. So many mountains to search around. Did I go down this road? I think I did, and there was nothing there. Nothing. I get turned around in the dark. Their attack was unexpected. Eyes wide with surprise, the enemy scrambled around helplessly. Not wanting to waste their momentary advantage, Locklear barked several quick orders and the battle was joined. Oh, well, hopefully they come closer. Try out my bow. that's maybe not what I wanted to do. Buckler blinked. For a long moment he stared at his dead opponent, pulse pounding in his veins as he waited for yet another to come. Teeth bared or blade flashing, but instinctively he knew he had won. They had won the fight. They were safe for the moment. I didn't want to do that. You were supposed to share those, Goroth. 12, 15. Yeah, perfect. I think that might be worth something. How many mountains to search around? Oh, more bad guys. The enemy was waiting for them. They've seen us, Locklear shouted. He shifted his concentration to two places, his legs, making certain of his stance and balance, and his opponents wondering how it was that they had not been surprised. Immediately all such thoughts were pushed aside as the enemy swept into their ranks. Oh wait. Nice. He was alive. Unsure if it was skill or luck that had won them the fight, Locklear set aside his weapon, though he allowed his dead opponent a wide berth while he checked on Gore's welfare and needed no further excitement for the day. I don't know how many of these I've read or not. Did Owen get hit? No. He can play the lute, though. Owen plucked the strings of the practice lute carefully, aware of his smallest mistakes were the cause of great grief to the others. He could at least say he was learning, however minutely, every time he played a single tune he knew. Save just in case the chest is trapped. It was. Ah. How badly am I hurt? Not too bad. Emerald, value 15. From what little he had learned about from gems at trading fairs, the emerald had been prepared in a Navet cut. Beyond that, he wasn't certain what the actual value of the gem would be when he attempted to sell it. Red Weed Brew. Gore shook the vial. Called Tice Piss among mercenaries, the liquid was famed for its vile metallic flavor and ruddy color, but owing to the fact that the liquid was gathered from rusty drain pipes, both owing to the fact that the liquid was gathered from the rusty drain pipes of the Temple of Tith, many claimed the fluid would improve an imbiber's swordplay for a short time. I don't know if getting hit by that bomb was worth it. I could load and cast the chest trap detection spell, but I don't know if you can disarm them very easily. As long as my guys aren't dead, I'm happy. Here we are. Is there a tavern here, I wonder? Alright, this is Hawk's Hollow. I can't remember if Owen said he had family here, or... I remember somebody said there was a treasure on a hill to the east, I think. Buckler pushed the door open as he passed through. He noted the lack of a door catch, a sign the inn was likely chartered by the local lord to ensure the safety of travelers. However, it would also mean that inn's furnishings would be suitable. The Dusty Dwarf Inn. Except for a thin stripe of floor that led between the door, the counter, and the stairs, a great cowl of dust coated the inn's fixtures. The patrons of the inn seemed similarly stagnant as they glanced up lazily from their mugs of ale and brandy. The man scowled, apparently far more intent on something going on across the common room. He seemed uninterested in Locklear's repeated attempts to chat. Last he gave up and gave an exasperated sigh. What exactly do you want? Just a little friendly talk, Locklear said with a companionable smile. News, gossip, and a song perhaps. We'll go find a bloody... that word again. Yongler, I don't know. And leave me be. Got better things to do than entertain every jackaboot comes through the door. This person also... Locklear tapped the woman's shoulder. Slowly she turned to look at him, but rather than greeting with a smile in her gaze was a look that he had thought reserved only for things that crawled on the ground or lapped up table leavings in the dooryard. What do you want? Something perhaps we could talk, Locklear ventured. Pass the time with a little conversation. Why? She said curtly, opening his mouth to reply, but suddenly finding himself bereft of adequate speech. He made a small sound which he was certain sounded quite unmanly, stabbing him with her exquisitely beautiful stare. She smiled. I thought as much. Goodbye, sir. I'm sure you have a brilliant oratory career before you. The barmaid's got rations. Let's share those with the party. All right. Nightmaster looked tired. 7 sovereigns for a night, he grumbled. Though if you louse my beds, I'll charge you double. We turn you out at sunrise. Oh, and there's a chamber pot in the corner if you need it. Should I sign you on for the night? Hold on. I'll come back in just a minute. Oh, I should have read what he said. So... resting normally... we'll just camp until healed. So, I'm not full health, right? So add an in, I think I can get the rest of the 20 hit points. 25, 20, and... yeah, math. 17. Locklear settled up the account. Room's upstairs, the Nightmaster said. Have a good rest. The room was cramped. Shrugging, Owen stepped over snoring bodies and selected a spot on the floor, which looked like might be comfortable for the night. While Gora squeezed into a bed already occupied by 3 disheveled-looking men. Ah, the romance of traveling, Owen said with a chuckle. In the morning. I didn't notice if I got full health there or not. I did. Excellent. Alright. So that extra little bit of hit points you gotta get from an inn. Did I go behind the village already? On this direction? I might have. I was hoping there'd be more treasure. Alright, so I think that was the end. Double check. I didn't play the loot either. I already read this. You failed. A man invited him inside. Come on, my name's Lucan. He introduced himself as he slapped his guests on their backs. Nice to meet you. I hadn't had visitors in some while. You know, it gets kind of lonely up here, and the kids don't come down too often. You have kids? They're a marvel, don't you think? And Locklear seized Lucan's wrist and gave it a savage twist, forcing a shiny sovereign to fall from the man's pained fingers. Everyone watched in silence as the gold clouded to the floor. I almost didn't feel you nabbing that from my purse, Locklear said. You're not a bad thief, but not good enough. Don't kill me, Lucan pleaded. Please, I don't have anything to give you. I'll do anything. I'll teach you. Teach you what? I'll teach you. Yes, that's it, Lucan said, his face brightening. Spare my life and I'll teach you what I know about locks, everything. What do you say? I like locks. Locklear arched an eyebrow. Very well, Lucan, you may teach us, but if we leave here with no lesson we came in with... No, you have my word. Just sit there and I'll be right back. I'll go and fetch my practice locks and I'll be right back. Nice try, but no, you're staying here. Locklear pushed Lucan into a seated position. Just tell Gorth where your practice locks are and he'll fetch them. Then we'll start our lessons. Having resigned himself to the fact that he wasn't going to escape, Lucan lectured and demonstrated for the better part of the day before he set his practice locks aside. That's it, he mumbled, wiping perspiration from his brow. That's all I know. Good enough, Locklear said. I think we will have to be on our way now. And Lucan, for your continued health, I would suggest you get out of the thieving business. Party's abilities have increased. It's in the barn. Locklear pushed the door open. Looks like an abandoned tavern, Gora said, looking around the room. Maybe the former owners left something behind we can use. A bell rang. No sooner had Locklear managed to get the door open than he found the shopkeeper was escorting him inside. Wooden man. The lay of the goods store was comfortably familiar, arranged in such a common-sense fashion that it took only a few moments for Locklear to locate items which he was interested in. Locate items which interested him, or something like that. I'm an upright man. Gorth looked at the medallion skeptically. In Krondor, similar amulets were sold as fool's trinkets, ornaments that seemed in all respects like true gold, but were clever fakes run up by unscrupulous magicians. Checking the reverse side, he noticed an inscription to Baneth, the god of luck and thieves. I can't afford the virtue key. Ring of the Golden Way. The ring was a simple, unadored band of gold which fit awkwardly on the finger. Worth only a small crafter's fee, and the gold used in its forging, the ring was still charming in its own humble way. What mystified him was the peculiar way it warmed when someone moved near him. Might be for stealth or something, I'm not too sure. Can I sell you this sword? No. But this useless gem. 83, I'll take it. In that case, I'll buy that virtue key. This is a virtue key, or I'm a Gwali's uncle, Locklear said with a grin, tapping the dorsal-shaped head. Originally, these keys were only made for chastity belts, but in the last 100 years or so, they've expanded the use of the design. This will protect very valuable items. Yes, I'll take that. I try to haggle him. Buy at my price or be off with you, he says. The door opened a fraction of an inch. Your hands, a voice commanded. Pardon? What did you say? Locklear asked. Show me your hands, the voice repeated from the darkness. Palms up, thumb out, don't make any sudden moves. Faintly amused, Locklear complied and did as asked, extending both his hands for the stranger's examination. On command, he turned his hands over, again waiting for the judgment of the voice in the house. You pass, the voice in the house pronounced at last, but his voice did not sound relieved. All right, then. Listen carefully and don't ask any questions. What was that? What was all that hand business about? I said no questions, the voice snapped. Suffice it to say, I know that you can be trusted with what I have to say because you don't bear the sign. You should be on the lookout for scrolls or anyone bearing scrolls. Read them carefully. They could save your life. Be safe. Scrolls? Locklear asked. Why? What's on these scrolls? Does it have anything? Abruptly, the door slammed shut. What did Owen end up with? 26 food and everybody else doesn't have. So there's something supposed to be east of this town on a hill or something. Maybe this back road leads to whatever it was. When no one answered the knock, they peered into the hut through an ash-stained window pane. Inside they could see bones strewn across the floor like forgotten toys, playthings of a death god long gone mad. Against the far wall, eyeless skulls were heaped on top of another with no particular sense of order or orientation. What is this place? It's a charnel house. When the graveyards fill up, they have to make way for new bodies, so they bring the old bones here. Let's go inside and have a look around. I've got a better idea. How about I stay out here and you go inside and have a look around? I will take a shovel. Pass was empty. It's a 2-day journey if the sign is to be believed. Think we should attempt it? No. Where does it go? It goes into another road in a forest. Trying to get down here to Krondor. There's Sarth, there's Questor's View, Egley. Oh, this road I haven't done. I kind of want to do all the roads and get all the equipment and all the fights. Uh-oh. Luckler swallowed hard. With his heart pounding in his chest, he watched the enemy creep closer. Fighting the urge to turn around and run like hell, he forced himself to remain calm, forced himself to show no fear, despite the feelings of near panic that threatened to overwhelm him. Owie. No, you're not supposed to come in there. Yellowtail milk. I think I read this one already. Somebody's got that. Will it stack? Owen's got that. Where do these roads go? Buckler never had a chance to knock. Without warning, a Moradel warrior charged at them from the other side of the small house, prepared to kill or be killed. Look out, screamed Locklear, readying himself for a combat. Ambush! They don't miss. Where's he going? You're not allowed to run away. What if he had all the good loot? Oh, I probably forgot to repair my armor and stuff last time. Took some time to get everyone on their feet again. Let's see if they left anything behind in the house, Locklear said. Fix. These roads are a little confusing. I guess we could go north to L'Oreal. See what's on that road. A pebble tumbled down the cliff face. Puzzled by the seemingly random event, Gorth glanced upwards and back at the ground. On closer examination, he realized the pebble was in fact a very dull brass button. Before he could cry out, ambushers fell from above. Something's been buried in the dirt. Repair that armor? Did I do so already? Did not. Hey guys. And was not surprised. They're running away with my loot. Goes back to the road. What treasure? Uh-oh. More ambushes again. That's just that one guy that keeps getting away. Is that why they're getting ambushed? Get some training with my crossbows. I wonder if there's a hotkey for that. Nice. I get the arrows back that I shot at him, I guess. Now, is this armor going to be better? Struggling with his complicated, even elven buckles, Owen tried the breastplate on for size. Too wide for him at the shoulders, but he was nonetheless pleased with his clever filigrees and fine fluted scrollwork, patterns designed to be decorative while also denying enemies an even striking plane. 25 armor resistance made for elf. What about... Oops. 15 armor. Oh, I should have, give it to this guy. He can repair it. Have some good armor, Owen. 93. Should trade these guys' armors, but it doesn't really matter. A piece of paper dangled from the doorknob. At all costs, travelers should avoid contact with Orno, widely known as Orno the Pale. A contagion of unknown proportions has already led to the illness of 3 people. Avoid contact with... The door swung open. Him! Owen straightened himself as a haggard-looking man in his mid-20s appeared in the doorway, his face covered with a bloody handkerchief. You are Orno? Yes, he wheezed through his handkerchief. And you're on my doorstep. Get away before you get yourself infected. What's wrong with you? Don't know. Doctors don't know. Priests don't know. Nobody knows. Only person that survived is Michelle the healer. She's a ways off in L'Oreal. I see. Well, we'll be off now. Sorry to have bothered you. Again, the man nodded. I sure you will be. I sure of it. No much to speak of it. Seeing the glazed look in each other's eyes. Hello, Cyrus. Each other's eyes and sickly pallor, each to begin to exhibit, it was more than obvious they had fallen prey to a violent plague. Silently, Locklear hoped they would reach the temple before they all died of it. Oh no. We caught the plague. Said there's a healer in L'Oreal. We're almost to L'Oreal. Where is this Michelle the healer? Anything around this mountain? Show me the treasure. Campsite. Give everybody the plague. Guess they're not interested in doing business. Would you like my elven sword? No. Curiosity sufficiently piqued, Locklear popped open the half-gallon cask and inhaled deeply. Immediately, his senses reeled as the heady cinnamon-like aroma assaulted him. Hessian ale. Prepare bowstrings with that. Might be worth it. Uncorking the mouth of the oilskin, Owen poured a small portion of the gold-flecked lacquer on his palm and examined it. Named after the type of impure brown glass common in Rillanon, it was an ideal resin to use in crossbow strings when they began to lose their cohesiveness. Strategies of trading. Though the book had been bound in fine leather, it had been ill-treated in the time since it left the scribe's hands. Numerous parchment pages were dog-eared, others smeared with grease or oil, some pages were half-torn, others were missing altogether, all hallmarks of an oft-used book. Maybe I'll come back if I need another armor's hammer or something later. The thin little man greeted them at the door. I am Kiefer Alescook. Have you come to buy or sell some gems? He questioned in a frail voice. Locklear moved closer to the door. We're looking for a ruby that may have been stolen by a group of Grey Warriors. Have you purchased any gemstones from such men? I don't know what you're talking about, the man said quickly. I don't buy stolen merchandise. You might try talking to a fellow I ran into north of Hawks Hollow about it. His name is Isaac, if I recall. The man looked about nervously. I'm not open for business right now. You'll have to come back later. Before Locklear could say another word, Kiefer had closed the door. The host's occupant was talkative. Careful not to divulge any details about their trip, Locklear steered their conversation towards the townspeople. Everyone here's fine folks, except for Michelle the healer. Hope you're not planning to visit her. Why? Locklear asked. She's a snake, he said. Told me I was going to die. You know what? I got better. Oh, I felt horrible enough for 3 or 4 days and thought I was going to die, but no, I made it through alive, I'll tell you. I think she and Orno the Pale of some kind of deal. He's given them some kind of contagion, and then she's administering some kind of phony medicine. It's indecent. Michelle escorted them inside. The house was small but well appointed. Its furniture very tasteful indeed for someone who seemed to be a commoner. You require my services. You are ill. Locklear shifted in his chair. You sound very certain of yourself. You have the signs. I can heal you, but I require payment. 25 sovereigns. Will you pay? Sure. Exchange was made. Very well, she said, taking the money from Locklear. Lay back for a moment. I will do my work. Unplugging a small vial of clear liquid, she passed it under her patient's nose and patted each on the head. You're all healed. You may go now. Scam or no scam. Can't risk the plague. Doesn't seem anybody's about. There's a temple back here. Read this. And I also read this. Yeah, so we can teleport to the Temple of Killing for 75. We're not sick. Acolytes escorted them. After passing through a maddening series of arches, they finally were led into a large chamber upon whose floor a 7-rayed star was formed in a mosaic by dark blue tiles. A small priest stood in the symbol center, his back turned towards them. We're looking for the high priest of this temple, Locklear said. Would you know where we could find him? I am he, as the man half turned. Locklear suppressed a gasp at the priest's hideous visage. Stuck to the left side of his face was a dark brown strip of cloth, a ragged hole torn in it to allow a pinkish-looking eye to peer out at them. What is it you want? He wheezed, his frame shuddering with each breath. Are you new acolytes? No, Locklear swallowed with some difficulty. We are travelers. As all under the heavens are, the man said, making a feeble gesture at the vaulted ceiling above them. All travelers, please let us talk a while. When at last many of the candles in the chamber had burned low, the priest nodded his head. I have enjoyed this, he said quietly. As have we, Locklear replied graciously, rising to leave. Oh, before I forget, where was the interesting statue again that you mentioned? In the Oracle? In the hills to the east of Malak's Cross, the priest replied. Perhaps your journeys will take you there soon. Oracle east of Malak's Cross. Anything behind there? Treasures? No. Can't go in there. Go down the river. Have I already been to this river? I think maybe I have. Another bridge here? Yes. Ah, wrong buttons. Okay, I've been here. So let's go back. Zoom. Oh. Going too fast. I didn't see them, guys. But the same guy, 6575. 6575. I'll have to come around then. If I can turn the music down just a bit. Not here. So those roads exist to miss this part, I guess. Preoccupation that dulls his had dulled his senses. Aware as if someone had thrown water over him during a pleasant dream, Locklear grabbed Gore's shoulder. Don't move, there's something very not right. It's a trap. Don't do that. Did I go on that side? Probably. Just got turned around. I think we're going south. And that road leads... I can go east. This leads towards Egley and eventually Krondor. To the east, it leads to the Dimwood Forest. To the south. Which way do you think we should take? I'll cancel for a second. We didn't do this long stretch of road. Let's do the Egley and then come back to the long stretch of road. Take every road. South. Trip was dull, with only the occasional cold draft that chilled their bones as they moved through the pass. It was a relief to finally feel the more temperate winds typical of the southern reaches of the kingdom. Was that a bad guy? He agreed to attack. It was an ugly mob. Standing in a semicircle, they waved angry fists at Locklear as Locklear tried to smooth over the situation. Look, I don't think I know what the problem is, but I'm sure we can work this out, he said calmly. Surely we can come to some kind of peaceful agreement, don't you think? Unfortunately, the mob seemed quite insane. Bow better than mine? It is. I check all the corpses. Temple of Silban. A priestess escorted them. Expecting a chamber in keeping with the rest of the grandeur of the temple, Locklear was startled when they were led to into a cramped room where an old woman sat reading through a sheaf of papers. Glancing up, the high priestess squinted at them, then shook her head. "Do excuse me, but I was expecting someone else," she said, laying aside the papers she had been reading. "A few days ago, I sent a summons to one of our faithful, a Franklin that lives to the north of Egley. I doubt he would have been able to get to you," Owen replied. "We ran into a band of men just outside the temple who seemed bent on killing any that came up the road." The priestess exhaled loudly. "The Quegian fever, Quegian, is spreading here, and likely those were more men infected with it. If you were to go to him and tell him the way is clear, I would consider it a very great favor." Looking back down as the tracks scattered in her lap, she rubbed at her eyes. "You'll forgive me, but I really must get back to work on these. Please see yourself out. Goddess blessing on you." North of Egley, she said, I think. That's where I'm going. Show me the treasure. Is there a bad guy there? So many ways off the road. Must look everywhere. Right. Well, I'm kind of lost. This is where I came from. There's nothing here. Ashes were cold. Well, let's camp where they camped. Thought there was more treasures off the road and behind all the mountains. Oh, there's a cave. I don't remember the cave. The passage was blocked. Let's move back the other way. Looks as if this entrance is closed for good. Let's look at the map. 1 second. Oh, bad guys. The enemy was waiting for them. Man, that crossbow guy doesn't miss. I think there's a quick save button, actually. It's probably that. North to Dimwood. That's the way I came from. Well, let's see what's behind the mountain. Is it trapped? It is. And Owen got critically injured, so let's reload that. So, can sense trapped chests. Owen grabbed Gorth's shoulder, startled by the sudden movement. Gorth halted and gazed up his companion. What's wrong? The chest. Give me a moment. Concentrating his thoughts, another scene overlaid the one already before him. Different only in the fact that it included a man kneeling before the box, a skin of naphtha in his hand. It's trapped. Owen replies, dazed by the effects of the spell. Someone's rigged it to explode the moment the lid is lifted. Shall we try to deactivate it? Yes. Oop. And Owen got wrecked again anyways. What's inside? It's safe. Shall we open it? Oh man, it's totally worth opening. Oops. A light crossbow. The heft of the crossbow alone was assuring. Its potency seemed worked the very fiber of the weapon, reputed to be more powerful than even the common mid-Chemian foot soldiers crossbow. They were rare treasures hoarded by weapons collectors. So it's 20 plus coral, accuracy -5 plus corals plus skill. Ugh. Okay, that's better than... I think it has a racial mod for what? Serani? Yeah, we don't have a Serani in the party. But I'll take it anyways. Now we know Gorth of the Ardanian to be on a path to the capital of Krondor. We advise you to continue your duties, but suggest you lie in wait for him on the eastern roads into Krondor. It is likely they will take an indirect route there, so as to avoid your patrol. He must move no further south. Halt him before he reaches the kingdom settlement of Tenurs, Delicon. When you get that injured, you can either go to an inn, or you can use some of this herbal stuff to speed healing, and then drink a few potions. 10 might do it. And then try to rest and see if he heals up. He heals kind of slowly. Eat another herb and see if he can get a little faster. 3 hit points that time. 22. Gosh, we're gonna eat a lot of food doing this. 26. 29. 36. Okay, so it must be actually healing now. Okay, close enough. Check the map again. We wanted to go the other way, but I guess we'll go to Questor's View really quick. Why not? What's with all the back roads? Surely there'd be something here. Have I been here? I'm sure I've been here then. It's worth more money than that, I think. That looks like a store that I've been to, but I don't think it is actually. The other store I was at with the same items was named something else. Alright, I guess got everything. Feel turned around. See the bad guy. The enemy was waiting for them. Mister's View. Locklear knocked loudly. Presently, a finely dressed man greeted them. As he spoke, he wiped sweat from his brow with a silk handkerchief. Fine day, don't you think? I'm Tad Quester. Have you come for a lesson? His eyebrows raised in a hopeful arch. Lesson? Inquired Locklear. The man disappeared in his house, returned with a blunt-tipped fencing foil. Have you come to learn the finer arts of swordsmanship? He asked, punctuating his question with several impressive maneuvers. I could give you all a quick lesson for only 75 sovereigns. How does that sound? Yes. Wonderful. Oh, I am so pleased you accepted my offer, he said excitedly. Scorth followed Tad into the small house. He was a trifle concerned about the man's credentials after all. This strutting little peacock looked as though he's never been in a fight in his life. Their doubts were quickly dispelled as Tad took them through the finer points of sword use. Though he may not have had much experience in the field, it was evident to all that he was a master of his art. He was even able to offer Owen a few pointers on how to best use the staff in hand-to-hand combat. The lesson lasted several hours, and they were exhausted when they finished, but all agreed the money had been well spent. Bard's abilities have increased. Alright, this guy's probably going to take my Moradel lampreys. Fuel Illico armor. Is that like a Serrani or something? Oh no, it's Dwarven. Commissioned by Earl Kasumi for his Lemudian soldiers. Lemushian? Lemudian? I don't know. The design was a Serrani improvement over Kingdom armor. Where rigid steel plates had been traditionally riveted, the armor crafter Yule Illico had used instead flexible lengths of horn which would allow the armor to fold without being punctured. Oh my goodness. Great tower plate. This must be Dwarven armor. Even in its advanced state of deterioration, the Dwarven armor was worth 2 suits of standard plate. Reddish brown scales of rust pocked its ancient surface, but its original making had rendered it so lifelike it appeared not like a corrupted metal breastplate, but instead a cancerous human torso. That was interesting. Alright, take my lampreys. Not worth much. Maybe for the really, I can get a better price for that. Whatever, get out of here. Carrying stuff around forever. You got a 12 whetstone and a 2 whetstone. How much is the 2 armor hammer? Oh, no, don't do that. It's in. Good day, said Locklear without turning his attention toward them. The man responded, I normally enjoy talking to travelers, but today I'd rather just enjoy my ale. Very well then, Locklear replied, heeding the man's wishes. Perhaps we will turn another time. Oh, there is an inn portion. Fortune smiled. Despite the fact he was stumbling through the chords of this kingdom mine, Owen's lack of musical mastery was masked by the raucous noise of the tavern's drunken patrons thumping their mugs to the rhythm of the music. That was interesting, the tavern keeper said. I don't think I've ever heard that song tortured so much in one evening. You're lucky the patrons were drunk tonight. Otherwise, against my better judgment, they're demanding I pay you. Here, withdrawing 15 sovereigns pieces from a pouch. The tavern keeper passed them over to Owen. then we'll sleep. Daylight arrived. His eyes rimmed red and his stomach turning, Locklear stumbled down the steps to find the inn's nightmaster, angrily pounded on the counter. Yes, the man said, glaring at Locklear. What is it? One of your patrons last night must have had some kind of sickness. I've been emptying my guts over in your bedpans all morning. The nightmaster looked unsympathetic. I shall have to see that they are cleaned out, glancing down his guest book. He ran his finger down the names. I still seem to have space available this evening. Will you be staying again? It's going to cost me money? Yes. Did not. I play the bard again? No. Come in, chimed a courteous young woman in a brightly colored apron. She held the cottage door open. Kneeling in front of a stone fireplace, a young man was placing several small logs into a crackling fire. The man looked up with a smile. Yes, please, we just finished eating. But I had some luck fishing today, so there's plenty to go around. Locklear's nostrils flared as he welcomed the smell of the barbecued sea bass and the fresh bread still lingering in the air. It's a tempting offer, but I'm afraid we must be going. A drink of fresh water will suffice, of course, but won't you take some food with you? I could have Laurelyn prepare a small package for each of you. Good for 2 days at least. She's quite a cook, you know. Sure. With a smile, the young man motioned to his wife. He moved next to her and helped prepare the rations, stopping only long enough to act out several key moments in the somewhat credible fishing story about a big one that got away. When they were through, they handed several packages to Locklear, who accepted them graciously. You have been too kind, he said. Make sure I don't have poisoned rations. Doesn't seem like it. Give him 2. Him 1. Can't get on the beach. No treasures or nothing. Where's this seem to lead? Both. We want to go up this road because we haven't yet. Man, everything looks so familiar. Haven't been to this store either. Sells rations, we need that. Bad guys. Treasure. Betrayal at Krondor, yep. Seems like I found I don't think I have a shield spell to avoid this thing. Someone's gonna have to take a hit from it. Might as well be Locklear. Oh, that actually... I didn't know the trap would hit the trap. That's funny. Elegant game for a more civilized age. Yeah. I like the... It's kind of like a whole story. Like a book. Oh no. The enemy was not surprised. I thought I could go around them. Guess we have a fight. I've just been wandering the whole map, down every road, looking for all the treasures that are off the road. Remember there's a spyglass you can get later. You can walk through across the entire map in chapter 1. I don't mind all these encounters either to level up my guy's skills, because I remember the game is like quite difficult at some points. I think you get stuck in the north and have to make your way back, and the encounters you find are just like, what? I remember summoning dogs with my horn and stuff like that, and it still wasn't enough. Some kind of giant berserker creatures and stuff like that. You're not allowed to run away. I haven't played through the other Betrayal games. What is it? Betrayal at Antares, and there's one more I can't quite remember the name of, but I think I have it. Yeah, Betrayal in Antera. I don't think I've played that one. Or I played a little bit of it, but not very much. Let's sharpen our swords. Yeah, I don't remember enjoying it as much as this game, that's for sure. I thought there was another game. Return to Krondor is another game. I haven't played that one either. I might have it. I'm not too sure. Probably intended to play them when I bought them 10 years ago, but never did. I'll get through this one, and then maybe if I can't figure out a game to play, I'll play through the other ones. It has Krondor, so yeah. I have some of the books too. I think I have like the Rift War series of like 4 books or something like that. I like those ones. My friend has 2 of them though, so I'm gonna have to get those back to read them again. I don't know how many Raymond E. Feast books I've read. I do enjoy them though. Did I go this way? What was that? The house by itself? Oh, and I got in that fight and I didn't know. Did I open the chest? I don't think I did. Silly me. It's gonna be a ghost in there, isn't there? No one home. Let's dig up the grave. Warning. The fiend beneath the stone is trapped by dirt, not by death. Stay away. We dig up the grave? Of course. The ground was too hard. Wiping the sweat from his brow, Locker threw his hands in frustration. Feels like somebody intentionally packed this down. Probably the family was afraid of grave robbers. Oh, I have a shovel, right? Does Locklear need the shovel? Okay, never mind. Maybe you're supposed to come back to that later. Where was that treasure that I didn't get? Brought me back to the road after the fight. Store I went into. Well, I'm never gonna find it now, am I? Don't remember where I was. Oops. Wrong button. Couldn't have been far from that encounter. Behind the store? Yeah, there we go. Please don't be trapped. Righty. So easy to spot when allowed to plume, it's hard to see when held in the room. I don't even know this one. Huh. Easy to spot when allowed to plume, it's hard to see when held in the room. Breath, I guess. No. What's the S, T, A, or R? Re. There, perfect. Like tears? No. Herb? Perk? Man. Come back to that. Be you ever so quick, with vision keen, by your eyes we are never seen, unless perchance it should come to pass that you see a reflection in a looking glass. Eyes, probably? Who's got torches? Wasn't there another one? There we go. A precious gift this, yet it has no end or beginning, and in the middle nothing. A ring? Alright. We're gonna have to look this up and just... Oh, that's the wrong one. Just cheat to figure out a riddle. So easy to spot when allowed to plume. Like, what plumes? Like, the only thing I ever see plume is, like, feathers and flowers and breath, and fire. It is hard to see when held in a room. Like a party? No. S, T, A, or R? I mean, PH does something. PHE? PHO? L, Febs. Is sheer a word? Feet? No? Close. Fleet. It's not going to be an M there for sure. Unless it's AM. Ample. Spell a bunch of things, but I don't know what it is. SH? HR? Probably not. I don't think they... I have to write these down. Let's try every... Rees. Well, I guess I'll write it down. I would do it on screen if I had an easy way to do that. Maybe next stream I'll have that set up. E. A. R. S. E. L. M. H. E. P. R. O. A. Wait, that was an E. A. L. B. S. E. R. E. Let me stare at this for a minute. I mean, short. I don't know what that even means. No R there at the B. Huh. Can't even guess. Too dumb, I guess. I don't really feel like cheating, so I guess I won't. I have to ignore that one. Oh, it's smoke. Uh-huh. That was frustrating. I had to stop looking at it for 1 second to figure it out. Alright, keep going this way. More treasures. A house. The man who greeted them at the door smelled of fish. Folks called me Chanty, he said after Locklear introduced himself. After a few more minutes of friendly conversation, he revealed he was a fisherman, but he hadn't been out on his boat for several days due to his health. As he spoke, he threw dark looks at an unseen thing over Gora's shoulder. Locklear was about to ask another question when Chanty suddenly mumbled something angrily and slammed the door closed. No amount of coaxing could convince him to open it again. It's dark. Ashes were cold. Why are we avoiding the road, guys? Let's find out. On the road. Ashes were cold. Rain for treasures. Please don't explode. The light one breaks but never falls. The brother falls but never breaks. This is gonna be the... No. Light one breaks but never falls. His brother falls but never breaks. Orb. Well, you fall asleep, you break your fast. I don't know. Night falls. Daylight breaks. D. Oh, day and night, I get you. Magical Scroll of Flame Cast. I think I already have that one. Happens if we try to describe it again. One side, though he's fairly certain he'd read the first few lines, that he knew the spell, he read it to the end to see if there was any critical variations which might be helpful to him. Finding that it was exactly identical to the spell he already knew, he put the scroll aside. Oh well, perhaps I can find a generous shopkeeper more use for it than I. You do get another spellcaster later, but I can't remember who he ends up partying with, so if I gave the scroll to somebody, it would probably be Gorth. I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. No, no bad guys. The road was littered with rocks. Instinctively, he knew that they had simply fallen from the sides of the rocky defile, which now faced them, but a part of him entertained the notion that perhaps they had fallen onto the roadbed when someone scrabbled up the cliff so to await the party. If we head north, there's always a possibility more assassins waited for us. Do we risk it? Not. Hold on. I think we probably said no to the south, but... Uh-oh. This took some time for them to assemble. I thought perhaps the assassins that had attacked us thus far had followed us through the Inklindel, but there are too many of them, even to chase a renegade like Gorth. Delican has to be calling on spies already placed within the kingdom. But Delican sits in Sargoth. Word of my escape could have only traveled as far as we have come. The fact that we have been attacked as far south suggests otherwise. I've never been a witness to it, but I have heard of a talent called mind speech. Very few magicians have it, but the ability allows men to communicate over very long distances. Perhaps Delicon might have hired such help. It is entirely possible. Even before I escaped from his fortress, it was rumored that the magicians with whom he has been keeping company had such talents. I know that his assistant Nago claimed to have such powers, although I never saw evidence of such. And if Delicon has the capacity, then undoubtedly he shall use his assistance. So we will have to be cautious and watch out for any who seem like magicians as we head for Krondor. Both of you keep your eyes open. But we're going. Okay. Huckler noticed the circle of holes and taking over where common sense had failed him. He shouted for stillness. Don't move. In our daydream, we allow ourselves to wander straight into a trap. North. Let's go. Alright, so we've been here, for sure. Turn around and go back. Days passed. Disliking the exposed feeling created by the defile, they moved quickly during the night and left the days to resting under rocky overhangs, listening for assassins' footsteps. At last, footsore and road weary, they emerged near the coast of the Bitter Sea. Right, so let's run back to Quester's View. I think we were at Egley? No. Did we go to Egley? I can't remember. Uh-oh. Figured I already killed everybody on the road. Darn, didn't kill him. Nice. I loot these guys? Probably. And I think I've been everywhere off the road already. South the Krondor. I want to go to Egley. Let's go north and around. I don't remember this. Darn. Now where are we? The door swung open. Good day to you, fine sir, said the man at the door. My name is Franklin Hurley. How can I be of service to you? Luckler cleared his throat. We were told at the Temple of Sylvan that you might want to see us. You've spoken to the priestesses? He asked incredulously. I wish to speak with them of next year's crops, but 3 howling idiots wouldn't let me pass. You won't be having any more trouble with those 3, said Goreth. Franklin excitedly retreated to his house and returned a moment later with a pouch of coins that he demanded they take as a reward. Locklear tried to turn the money down, but the man insisted. They thanked him for his kindness and generosity and then left. What's in your barn, sir? Locklear pushed open the door of the wooden barn. Inside, he found stalls containing a standard mixture of animals. The floor of the barn was covered with a pungent mixture of hay, dust, and animal dung that made his eyes water. He was glad when they left a few minutes later. Any treasures? Something buried. Eh? This the one that was blocked? Yep. North the Dimwood. Gorth stopped and stared off into the distance. After several seconds of contemplation, he turned and began to speak. Look at that tree over there. The lower limbs have all been hacked off. That either means we're near someone's property line, or someone was ensuring they had an unobstructed view of the area. If we continue in this direction, we should proceed with great caution. I mean, I should save. They're being watched. Unsure where their observers were located, Locklear wheeled about just as a figure emerged from behind the trees. Oh, they got a spellcaster. Oh. To go after the spellcaster. Oh no. They're gonna be paralyzed the whole round? I don't want to let them run away. The flaming crawl? One more time. 34%. Go. Nope. Poison. Where's the mage's body? It's there as well. That was the last of the hammer, I guess. Bard's abilities have increased. Goodness, it's been 2 hours already. Maybe we'll finish searching the road or something first, because if I come back tomorrow, I likely won't remember all the areas, or if I finished. Yeah, let's get to Egley, and then we'll turn the stream off for the day. We need rest. Probably heal, actually. Perfect. Dorth disappeared. Owen found him on one knee, his hand wiping gently at something in the dirt. These tracks appear to be elven. I'd say abandoned them passed through not long ago. Strange, it appears they left Egley, stopped over a while here, and headed east towards town again, as though they were looping back. East to Egley. Any treasures? Alright. That's a good place to stop, I think. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for follows and likes and pressing all the buttons. And we'll see you again tomorrow, probably, for 2 hours of Betrayal at Krondor. If you want to see episode 1 or any of the other games I played, you should check out the live tab of my YouTube or the playlists over there. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Love you. Peace. Bye.